can be what you want to be. Be what you want to be. You just be what you want to be with me.
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to another episode of Happy AF. I am Sambowker and I am super pumped to have you here today. So, today's going to be a little bit different. Today's going to be, if you've been watching the other episodes, don't worry, I'm going to hook you up with all of what's been going on, and I'm going to give you a few little, tasty morsels to sit and devour and think on. But I'm going to just start with a bit of a, do you know what? I'm just going to be real. I'm going to do a bit of a vulnerable share and just, I guess, open up with. This morning, I have to say, I didn't think I was going to film an episode today. I honestly have to say that I've had a really, really interesting and let's just be honest, I've had a really brutal couple of days. And, one of the things, I guess, doing the work that I do, I'm always in this space of reflection and process and learning and growing, and I don't believe that ever really ends. And I think for someone that does the work that I do, especially, even more so than, your average human being, mere mortal just rocking on through world, because I'm constantly looking at analysing and understanding and what is all that about. And I have to tell you that typically I'm pretty good at understanding, why things have happened, and I'm good at reframing things, and I'm good at kind of, soldiering on and moving through my processes and so much so that I would pretty much say I wear my processing with a badge of honour. I'm pretty freaking good at it. And this morning I found myself in this situation that I had really been struggling for a couple of days. And, what I was struggling with is not super, super relevant, but I'm just going to say stuff that was out of my control, okay? And the only reason I'm not being super, honest and open about this is that the reality is some of it is not my story to share, but it impacted me in a really huge way, right? And the last couple of days, I've really struggled, right? And normally when I go through a process, I can bounce back pretty quick, right? And I don't know what it's like for you guys out there, my little happiness warriors that tune in and hear about what goes on in my world, hoping for some tasty morsel that's going to help you live your life happy AF. But for me, I'm usually good at kind of getting through stuff pretty quickly, and I like to get through it quickly. And over the last few days, I've found that I've been going through these processes, and there's been all these insights and awarenesses that have been coming to me in the form of, books. I started listening to a book called Happy Days by Gabby Bernstein. Sorry, Gab, if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. Gabby, any of you that know her, like this book, Happy Days, it's really deep, right? It's called Happy Days. It draws you in, right? It had the word happy in the sentence. And I just found it was really, really triggering. And I don't know if it was really triggering for me because of where I'm at right now. Obviously, I needed to hear these messages right now, but I started having these profound awarenesses whilst listening to this book that really triggered me and started helping me go into this space of deep emotion, right? And when I talk about a trigger, right, just to be really clear, a trigger is just something that happens and it makes you go into a space of contemplation, right? Now, some people will go, oh, that person made me so angry, or, oh, I got so sad because of what they did, and, oh, they made me feel blah, blah, blah. Me, the way I frame all of those things is I was triggered, right? Because no one can make us feel anything. Despite what we think, no one makes us feel anything. We choose to feel a particular way. But the thing is, the choice comes from an unconscious pattern based on a trigger, based on something that's happened in our life, right? It is the lens with which we are seeing things through. So I have enough awareness. I've done enough work to understand that these triggers come, and you may not be aware of it in the moment. And yes, you might react in the moment poorly sometimes, maybe better at other times. But the reality is I always know when those triggers come that there is a lesson, there is a learning, and it's almost like a riddle that I need to then go in and work out. And in the last couple of days, I found these like, just trigger after trigger after trigger. And so then, going into reflection and then process and then trying to understand. And I pride myself in being able to work these things out. And I found myself this morning just not able to work it out. And I couldn't snap myself out of it, right? And if you were someone that hadn't done a lot of work, you might be saying, oh, I was feeling really depressed, or, you might be, I just feel really sad, or whatever the word is. And I'm not saying that like I'm better than anyone that hasn't done the work. I just want to sort of explain to you why I use this dialogue. And no emotion is bad, right? Happy is good. Sad is good, angry is good. All emotions have a place, okay? I know my show is called Happy AF, but, if it was called Mad AF, I don't know if you'd want to watch it, because who wants to live their life mad all the time, right? But the thing is that if I find myself stuck, like I felt stuck, and so I wonder what you do when you find yourself in the kind of place I found myself this morning. And that's why I really, I've made my every excuse under the sun, right, to not want to film today, okay? And, I was supposed to film at 5 o'clock and then I couldn't because things that were outside of my control. And then, and there was all these things, right? And it was like I was being given the opportunity to make the excuse to go, it's okay, to say, you know what, there won't be an episode tomorrow. And I could have justified all of these things logically. I could have made a really good justifiable reason for not doing it. And I just found myself half an hour ago sitting in my car going, okay, what do I want to share? Like, because I've been going through this unraveling through the day, and it's been like this, right? It started like this, and then it went like this, and then it went like this, and it's been up and down and up and down. And it's been actually quite a profoundly amazing day. And I've had so many beautiful moments throughout the day, but it's been very emotional, right? And I don't know about you, but like I don't really love showing my emotion to anybody, really. My loved ones, anyone, right? If I'm in an emotional space, like I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I certainly don't want to do it live. I just want to go and hide until I can come back and be happy Sam. And, and I'm not saying my emotion is bad and I'm not saying vulnerability is bad, but I still just don't really love sharing it. And that's me. Okay, so that's my honest truth, right? But as I was sitting here thinking to myself, what do I want to share with you guys? I thought, you know what? There's so much that is coming into me right now. I'm getting so many downloads and thoughts. Like I haven't been sleeping. I've been waking up at 2 a.m, getting my phone and literally talking into my phone and writing notes, going, oh my gosh, and there's an episode, I have to share this and I have to share this and I need to share this. And so I've been getting all this information, but being able to bring it into a place where it's useful for you and it doesn't just sound like a mad woman's ramble, I went and I sat in my car, right, and listened to a couple of songs. And I do that before every episode, okay? I get myself into a state, I listen to songs and I pump myself up, and then I come out and I, share. And I hope that I'm of service in that place. And I listened to 2 songs today, right? 2 songs that just came across my screen. And the first one was called Angel by Sarah McLachlan. And I listened to this song and it is just the most beautiful song. And, I'm going to actually find a way to post the notes up in the show notes here so you can see Angel by Sarah McLachlan and just read the words. And then after that song, I listened to Florence and the Machine, I'm pretty sure. And it was all about Shake It Off. And it was called Shake It Off. And I'm like, okay, that's good, right? I've just had this really emotional one and it was perfect. It was called Angel, which is why I was drawn to it. And I'll share with you why that word there grabbed me. And then Shake It Off, right? Okay, I'm about to come and show and share and do a show called Happy AF. So, okay, shake that off. And, you don't want to turn up to the show crying, even if it's good emotion. You don't want to start the show like that, right? We might get there, but that's not where we're going to start it. And there's a line in the song, shake it off, shake the devil off your back, right? So I've got angel and I've got devil, right? And this morning when I rang a very dear friend of mine and I said to her, and I explained what had been going on, and I just said, I don't know why, I can't shake it off. Like I can't, I'm really, I'm good at shaking this off, and I'm normally really good at just snapping out of it and getting on with it. And I can't seem to do that this time. Like, what's wrong with me? And this beautiful friend of mine, she said, there's nothing wrong with you, Sam. Like, seriously, there's nothing wrong with you. You've had a lot of boundaries crossed, right? There's for you right now, you're experiencing a feeling of, betrayal and heartache and trauma and your inner child. And she brought all these things up based on just this little rant that I'd had with her. And I realised how much I had not been honouring, right, the gravity of these feelings and emotions. And I was just trying to sort of like push through and go, come on, it's okay. And I had to sit there for a second and go, wow, if this was a client sharing this with me, like I would just give them permission to just be in that space and not feel like they had to wash it away and push it away. And in that moment, I realised that how I now push away those uncomfortable feelings is that I work, right? I work and I go into helping mode and service mode and I contribute. And until today, I honestly didn't realise that my work is no different when I'm utilising it as a way of shutting down my own emotions and numbing my own stuff. It's no different than me going and taking a drug or eating too much chocolate or drinking wine. And it kind of unraveled me when I realised that. And I didn't come to that insight by myself. It was, it started yesterday when I was listening to this book with Gabby, and she was talking about how, she had made her way through addiction and then she had transferred her addiction into things which she had essentially been patted on the back for, which was being amazing at her job and writing these books and all of this stuff. And I think that was when this emotion started kicking in and I was like, oh my God, that's what I do. Like I go to work and I'm in service and I love helping people and this is my calling. This is what I'm meant to be doing. I know it is. I know that this is where I am in flow. It's where I'm in state and I will do this work till the day I die in some capacity because it is my bloodline, right? It's what helps me breathe. I can't breathe when I don't do it. But that doesn't mean that I don't still have work to do. And so I guess this has been my really long-winded way of trying to explain that, is that I realised this morning after talking with my friend that I was actually in a place whereby I now get to sit and breathe. Right? And that's why I've been getting these massive downloads and not sleeping, right? I don't know what your beliefs are spiritually, but 2, 3, 4 in the morning is when we are very much open to that divine guidance because it is the only time that we can actually hear the guidance that is coming into us because there's silence. There's no technology. There's no people talking. And for a long time, I've understood that. I used to wake up at that time of day and be like, oh, why can't I sleep? And then I realised it was a gift. And so I started tuning into that. And I've just been getting so many downloads lately. I've been hearing and downloads, you can make that mean whatever you want. For me, I genuinely believe now and understand that the information that comes down to me, whether it is angels, spirit, source, God, universe, I don't know, but I know that it's divinely guided to me. It's the information I'm supposed to be hearing, and I hear it best 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, right? And so when I spoke with my friend this morning, she said, Sam, make me a promise. Don't go and do a training. Go and hire another coach. Don't go and, because she knows me. Right? When I'm trying to work stuff out, I want to understand the mechanics of it. I dig in, I hire a coach, I go and do a training, I do a certification. I'm a doer and I don't sit in the beingness because the truth be told, it's really fucking uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable when you are in that mess, right? And that's that's where I've been. And so she said, you know what, the only thing, if I was going to let you do anything or suggest you do anything right now, maybe, turn to your angel cards. And I don't know whether you believe in that kind of stuff. I'm a skeptical believer, but I must say I do own a lot of different versions of angel cards. And so I grabbed a set of angel cards when I walked into my office tonight, and the card I pulled as I was thinking, okay, all right, I'll be open. The card I pulled was listen. Your angels are trying to talk to you. Are you listening? Are you hearing? Right? So I want to ask you, whatever your beliefs are right now, don't get caught up on the words. If you don't believe in angels, then whatever. Ask, what guidance is coming to you? What information are you missing right now? What do you need to hear in this moment? What do you need to see? Ask for a sign. Because this morning when I was talking to my friend, I saw a seal. Now, those of you that know where I live on the Central Coast, a beautiful place, but this body of water where I saw a seal, firstly, I didn't know seals would even be there, like it was just not a normal experience. And this seal was just frolicking. And when I first saw it, I was like, what's going on? What is that, right? And then I'm like, is that a bird? No, that's way too big for a bird. And then I stopped and I looked and I was like, oh my God, it's a seal. And it was just frolicking through the water. And I believe in signs and signals, and so I Googled, what does it mean when you see a seal? And it was all about tapping into your inner child and listening and being joyful and playing. And I honestly, as soon as I saw it, it made me cry, because I realised that at the moment this is this part of me that's being called up to, I guess, be challenged, but she's asking me to listen. Like my inner child is asking me to listen to her. My soul is saying, hey, pay attention to where we're at, right? Stop looking outside of yourself. Stop, listen, stop being so busy, right? And so as I sat here thinking about what I wanted to share with you, I had a look at some of the notes I've been making in the middle of the night. And I want to share with you this quote, right, that is not my quote, but the first time I heard it, I understood it and it landed for me, but I don't think it really landed until I again saw it today. And it is, we are only, I'll read it because I want to get it right. We are alive only to the degree to which we are willing to be annihilated. We are alive only to the degree with which we are willing to be annihilated. And it was the opening of a book, Benjamin and Azra Becker, and I'm not sure whether it was their quote or they got it from somewhere else, but they were the people I heard it from first. And to me, what that quote means is that only will you get to live this life when you really let go of the opinions and judgments, the need to be a people pleaser, the need to put everybody else first and yourself last. Only when you are able to let go of that fear of not being liked and loved and accepted, hence only when you are willing to be annihilated, will you truly get to be alive, right? And that is my mission. That's my mission. It's my mission to live that. It's my mission to teach other people to live like that, to be shiny as fuck, happy as fuck, bright, right? And that's what I was talking about in last week's episode. And I'm not sure if I really made the point, but a lot of information is coming to me right now about the importance for us to all step into our power and to rise up and share whatever it is, like whether it is our song or our creative whatever, our thing that is our thing, okay? And whatever that is for you, like if you're watching this episode today, then trust that you have been divinely guided to be here on some level. And the messages that I'm sharing with you, they are coming at you because you're supposed to be hearing them right now. So ask yourself, are you right now stepping up to the plate and putting yourself out there and acknowledging and accepting that you could be annihilated by doing it? Because if you're only halfway in, if your foot is only a little bit over the line, you never get to experience it. And yeah, okay, it might be like this. You might not have to experience massive this and massive that. And I definitely get to do the massive high and massive low. But if you live like this, you are never truly in your power, okay? You are never actually experiencing life to the fullest, and you never get to be happy AF. Like, that's for sure, right? It'll never be a full fuck yes. It'll be like, yeah, you know, it was okay. I did all right. And so it's in the silence where the magic happens. And I honestly thought I was okay with silence, but I'm realising it's still a really big body of work for me. You know, it really is. And we will continue to get those lessons, right? And they change. They put different coats on. You think you've got it worked out, and then another coat comes along and you think, hang on a second, I thought I sorted this. And then it's like, oh, no, actually, no, I didn't. And all the way you'll get these little guideposts if you're asking the right questions. And so I find myself in a space of contemplation. I find myself in a space of really being open to receiving that information. And also I talk a lot about embracing that discomfort. Well, I'm really getting to practice what I preach with that right now, right? We are only alive to the degree with which we are willing to be truly annihilated, like annihilated. And for you to step into your power, the old you has to die, right? So unless you are living that life that you were put on this earth to live, unless you are giving yourself permission to shine bright enough that people might not like you, they might not love you, they might not accept you. And in fact, the shinier you get, the more that people that are in your immediate sphere of influence, right? Family members, loved people, people that, you know, are your people. Trust me when I tell you, they're not all going to like it when you step into your power. Can you be okay with that? It's not going to be comfortable. I promise you, it's not going to be comfortable, and you're going to have some dark nights of the soul. But you've got two choices in this life. You get to please everybody else, or you get to please yourself. And I think we've all done both. And either one of those places is not the place you want to be all of the time. But I want you to ask yourself, are you a people pleaser? Are you running out there doing everything for fear of not being liked, loved and accepted? Or on the other spectrum, do you care nothing about anyone else and it's all about you, and you're a complete narcissist and that's not the place to be either. But I tell you, if you can't take care of you, if you can't look after you, and if you're worried about always looking after everybody else and putting yourself last, your soul, your inner child will kick and scream and fight and shout, and at some point will break. And the side effect of that, I promise, will not be good. It'll be anxiety or depression or addiction. It'll be massive outbursts of anger. It will not feel great, right? Or it'll be breakdown and sadness, right? And for me, I've realised that, I can cope so much, but then I get to a point and then I lose my shit, because I'm human. Like most humans, we lose our shit, right? So it's been a really interesting couple of days, but I'm really excited for where I am right now, because I've actually got to a point where I'm like, okay, Sam, right now you have enough knowledge. It's time to just sit and be. And you don't always have to be bouncing off the walls with excitement. You can actually just come in and be in a contemplative space, which is where I am right now. And you can also keep asking for signs and messages and guidance along the way, which is definitely where I'm at right now. So even though I've had this recent awareness that I may have been lying to myself, and it was a bit of a shock when I realised that if I was really radically honest with myself, maybe I still had a bit of work to do in particular areas of my life that I thought I had nailed down. Now that I've admitted that to myself, it's so freeing and so light. And I just have noticed just today, since it was like from where I was this morning to where I am now, like I'm worn out, because it has been, I feel like I have literally done a degree today in my own mental health. But where I am now at the end of today is in this place of just so much excitement about where I'm going and what I'm doing and the work that I get to do. And I'm in a space of just complete and utter surrender and trust that everything is happening for me in a way that I've actually already manifested it and created it. It's all happening exactly as it needs to. And the thing about that I've had to, or I've gifted myself with accepting, I know where I want to be and what I want to do, and I understand the outcome, but the process with how I'm getting there, that bit I've had to surrender. And for a control freak, type A personality like me, that's tough, right? But the surrender is the gift. So on that note, I'm really just going to leave you with that quote again. We are only alive to the degree with which we are willing to be annihilated. So I ask you, if you want to continue on this happy AF journey with me, are you willing to be annihilated? Are you willing to let that old part of you that is no longer serving the version that you want to step into, are you willing to let it die? Are you going to let it die so that you can have the new growth come up and you can go out there and embrace the uncertainty that comes with it, because it's unfamiliar and you might not know where you're going, but just trust. Trust that if you release, let go, accept and surrender, the path of least resistance will show you the way. I love you guys. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode. If you have found value in it, please share it with people. Get it out there, okay? I'm watching my subscribers grow and grow, and I'm so excited that people are starting to subscribe. And make sure you've turned your notifications on. Share it with someone that needs to hear this message today. And if you are listening, then I hope you got something out of it. Please like, comment, share. Tell me what it is. Tell me what it is that came up for you. What are your triggers? Do you know what they are? On that note, I'm going to love you and leave you. Thanks for your time. Bye.